to go? Okay, I think the thing I'm most proud of would be the resiliency of this team. You know, this is a resilient group. Obviously been through quite a bit throughout the season. And I would tell you that it really matters to them in terms of how they represent the University of Florida. Obviously a big deal to play in homecoming. Ton of people back this weekend, incredible weekend, recognizing the 84 team. And I would tell you, this group they felt like they had maybe let the place down, let people down in terms of how we played earlier in the year, and they took that personal, and it was important to them to do that better. And the last couple of times we've been able to play at home, I think they've done better in that regard. So, how hard we play and the way we compete and being a great teammate has got to be in our DNA. And I think these guys have proven that over time that can be effective, if we do those things. And every person matters, not just what you see out there tonight, but we have so many people that contribute, about 250 people that contribute to what we do. Tonight we won the turnover margin. We played really good on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. I thought the defense was really good on conversion downs, the momentum plays in the game, the fourth down stops, and obviously Montrell being out, for Jaden Ball to step up, with Graham being injured and out for the year, for DJ to step up. And a really good defensive performance outside of the kickoff return and the flea flicker. I thought those guys played really strong. So we played complimentary ball. And again, I think we probably played our best football of the year, and I'm really proud of the resiliency of this group. What do we have?
Billy, haven't had a ton of feel-good victories. This was obviously, way up there, top of the list maybe. What does that, does that feel good for you, given, the struggles that you've gone through, this team's gone through?
Yeah, I think what makes me happy is when I see players who have worked extremely hard for a long time and maybe don't get the self-gratification, of winning, and I think resiliency is essentially just being mentally tough and having the ability to overcome setbacks, to work through difficult times, to have an identity. And look, that's what I would say about our team is they continue to work. They were solution-oriented. Nobody pointed a finger. And we went through a challenge last Saturday night. And we had a locker room of guys that were hurt. We could have easily splintered at that point, but we didn't. We probably got stronger and worked Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as good as we've worked all year. So we cannot forget what got the result that we experienced tonight. That's the most important part.
Yeah, you were without a quarterback with like 50 starts almost, a running back with 35 plus probably, two 19-year-olds, one who just turned 19 last week, I think, step in. What does that say just about them and just the way they were prepared?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, both were elite players coming out of high school that we worked extremely hard to prove that this was the right fit for them. We had a vision for what they could accomplish here, person, student, and player. And a ton of people contributed to that. Both come from great families. Both have humility. Their work ethic is second to none. And they've been able to observe veteran players that do it exactly the way you would want a guy to do it, right? So for Jaden Ball to observe Montrell Johnson since January, for DJ Lagway to observe Graham Mertz, that impacted tonight as much as anything. They're obviously talented. And we have a lot of other young players that are capable of the same things. So they stepped up in a major way.
And just DJ, just his big play propensity. I think 7 completions. I think he averaged like up 37 a completion.
Yeah. No, 191 quarterback rating, I think, which is definitely winning football. It created some explosives. Maybe one black eye was the pick, probably forced that one into coverage, but made some plays with his feet too, and that gets overlooked. But the read element in the run game, and then there were a few where they covered us and he scrambled and was able to make some plays. he's only going to get better with, and obviously the work that he does between Sunday to Saturday contributes to what you see out there.
Yeah, Coach, 3 fourth down stops, 3 turnovers. It continues to be a pretty good month for the defense. What's continued to evolve, you think, on that side of the ball? And is there even a chance for another gear with another open week?
Yeah, I think we got good kids, man. I mean, that's at the root of all this. I mean, I could talk about the technical part, but it comes down to a selfless group that was solution-oriented, didn't point a finger. Obviously very disappointed with how we played early in the year. The staff took ownership. We had really good leadership at the player level. There was collaboration there, and I think in the open date we said, hey, put the ball down, let's call it, and we got to work on our between-play process, and then we just played better fundamental football. We played harder, and I think the players took ownership of that. And again, it goes back to what I said in here after game one. They were embarrassed. We were embarrassed. So we had a decision to make, and I think obviously just really proud of the players. I mean, at the core, they want to do it the right way.
Your players seem most excited by that pick 6 by Cormani McLean. Just what does that say about, obviously what Cormani's been through has been pretty well documented, but to see that out of him, and you've seen how he's progressed since he's been here, just how exciting of a moment was that?
Yeah, no, I mean, Cormani was on the scout team early in the season. He would intercept a couple passes every day. I would just tell the staff, like, hey, this guy's down here. He got here midsummer. He doesn't know as much, but he can play man coverage. And ultimately, Jason goes down, and then ultimately, here we go. We're down Jakeem, and here we go. Cormani McLean's on the field, right? So, and he made an incredible play down here in this corner of the end zone right here, right there. That PBU, the way that, so the guy's, he's got a long way to go. Okay, let's don't put the crown on the guy's head right now. But he stepped up. Guy got injured. He was able to go in there and do his job in a critical moment. He's got great instincts, and I think there's more room for growth. That's what I would say. I think ultimately he's matured. He's cleaned himself up a little bit, and he's a rookie. So, yeah, I think ultimately got to continue to do what you're supposed to do, and good things will happen.
In the early prognosis on Jason, we're not going to get an availability report from you for a couple of weeks. Just any early indication of what that was, and also Devin Moore, just how is he? I know he was able to return in the contest.
Yeah, no, we'll have an injury report for you. It's going to be a while, right? So we don't play for be another 10 days or so before we'll get you one, but we'll get it to you when we get there. Yeah, it'll be. Yeah, no comment.
Billy, the score was 13-6 before the goal line stand, and then you guys score on the ensuing possession. Just how critical was that stretch right there?
Yeah, no, those are the momentum plays in the game. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, maybe after the interception too, if I'm not right. So, I mean, for them to put the fire out after the takeaway, I mean, that was where the momentum shifted a little bit, right? They had it. Definitely could have been a tie game there. They go for it, don't get it, and then we're able to turn it around. And for DJ to bounce back and overcome that, I think that's part of it as well. But that's the kind of complimentary football. We got to be that type of team for sure.
And then they come out, score on the opening drive of the second half to make it a one-score game, and then your defense, I think, 3 turnover on downs in the fourth quarter and the pick 6. How do you think they responded to that touchdown?
Well, we had trouble getting off the field on that possession. They converted on a couple third downs, 4th down and 1. Really nice play call on their part with leaking the tight end out. But, yeah, we were in position. I think in that possession we had a couple of chances to finish on the quarterback. We didn't quite get it done. A couple of scrambles. So, yeah, I mean, I think in this league, man, you better be ready to go. Every possession counts, So definitely that was a big turning point. Those fourth down stops are huge.
Earlier this year, you mentioned that one of the things that really frustrated you was the inability to establish a run game. To be able to do that against this defense, especially, just how much of a relief is that to kind of get it going, especially against such a good team?
Yeah, no, our guys up front continue to get a little better. I mean, I think we're playing good around them. We settled in. We ran it good last week. I think here for a couple weeks in a row we've been able to. You look, it comes down to having a good plan, having a hat for a hat, and then got a ton of people that contribute to the running game, not just the offensive line. The tight ends, the receivers, obviously the quarterbacks in the middle of that as well. But again, it's got to be, if we're going to be a contender around here, we're going to have to be really good up front on both sides, right? So I think we're seeing that the last 2 games in particular against good personnel and competition. So we need to continue to do that. You got to recruit the height, length, the athletic ability. I think we've worked hard to do that. We got the body types in here, and I think hopefully they can continue to play well.
Billy, on day one, you talked about wanting to play complementary football here, and you've mentioned that a couple times tonight. Is this kind of what you envisioned?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we fed off of each other to some degree. I think we stepped up for each other to some degree. Look, when I say complementary football, I'm just saying that in this league, each part of your team is going to have to go blow for blow. There's going to be every matchup is different, right? There's certain spots on your team where maybe you're at a disadvantage, or certain parts of the team where you're at an advantage. So I thought we fed off each other at times tonight, and that's an important part.
Defensively, you guys have played lights out on third down. Kind of what can you attribute that to these last 3 weeks?
Well, we mixed it up a little bit. We played a little bit more zone tonight. I think we guessed right. I think the staff had a really good plan. We did meet our goal on conversion downs, third and fourth down, so that was a big piece. And look, we're close to even more, so I think ultimately the rush and the coverage are starting to work together a little bit better. We're landing, we're starting to affect the quarterback. I mean, how many times tonight did we not sack him, but we made him move around, we flushed him. So we're covering him a little bit longer, and the rush plan is working, and it's landing quicker. I think the combination of those two is kind of what you're seeing.
I think Cam Carroll is able to get into the game late tonight. Just as a coach and seeing what he's been through and his injury and setbacks and the whole rehab process, what did that feel like for you to see him go out there, not just run out onto the field, but get some carries tonight too?
Yeah, no, Cam is one of the best human beings we have in the building. He's been incredible from day one, and he still has a voice on our team. He has a leadership role. He affects our team in a positive way. And the toughness and that he showed on his road to recovery, I think has been. And look, there's still more for him to accomplish, in terms of his recovery. So Cam he's as good as we got. I'm proud of him in general, and I know his teammates. It means a lot to his teammates as well.
Some really nice wrinkles, unbalanced line, DJ under center, Jack Pyburn at fullback. How much of that is the development of DJ going from last week to this week, and maybe just natural progression there, or how much of that is like some tweaks to try to change some things up?
Well, we use the tackle over stuff in the red area, right, where all of a sudden it becomes a man-to-man game and you're trying to create an extra gap. And then obviously, given what happened to us last week, I think we felt like, we carry those type of plays each week. We just had those scenarios tonight. And look, Jack was lights out, and I think it's a factor. Pyburn, he's made our team better. We got some guys on our team that the Slaughters, the Pyburns, the George Gums, the Sapp. I mean, we got some guys that are very vocal and have character and have showed good leadership. Pyburn's in that, and he's got a future as a fullback if he can't play on the edge.
Billy, couple field goals early, patience being very important. Then you hit him with a couple of long bombs to Badger. How important was that to just get those long passes opening up the running game? Because I thought that was a very key factor in what you were able to do offensively.
Yeah, we felt going into the game that maybe there was a lack of respect for the deep part of the field. And it turned out to be true, and I think obviously Badger had an incredible day. I mean, some just elite catches, finished one off there on third down, but just his ability to make the contested catch, the vertical threat, and then obviously DJ laid those in the basket. Those were elite throws. So we knew that we had that. That was the plan going into the game, was to really challenge him with three-level shots. And we didn't land some early, but then it started to work. So definitely contributes to the run game.
Obviously, big win tonight, a lot of momentum going into the bye week, but from here it's not going to get any easier. A lot of ranked opponents coming up. Just how are you looking to build on what you saw tonight, just in terms of all the positive performances, and just keep that momentum alive going forward?
Well, I'm excited about the open date being here and our opportunity to get healthy a little bit. I think we've been through the grinder a little bit. We're beat up a little bit. So it'll be great for our guys some of these guys that weren't able to play tonight, to kind of turn those guys around and get them into return to play, and those guys to be available. So we were a little thin in some spots out there tonight, but ultimately this open date comes at a good time. And in this league, you better have depth. And down the stretch, I think the open date will provide opportunities for us to work with some of those players that are going to be critical pieces relative to that depth.
How would you evaluate DJ's progression through the offense since compared to maybe the start of the season, now that he's seen some top defenses from the SEC, just from reading the defense and making the right decision with the football?
Yeah, he gets better every day. He learns something every day. I think if we just, I think we probably should put it on paper, like what those quarterbacks do from Sunday to Saturday, the amount of time that they spend preparing, because this is a game that's about preparation, especially when you're a signal caller and you're processing information every play and making decisions every play. But I just think his growth has been, I think he's improved fundamentally. I think his football intelligence has improved, and I think he's become a really good communicator. And he's got a knack. He's a competitor, and you got to be tough-minded. You got to be willing to continue to show up, and I think he's obviously done that. So he'll just keep getting better. I believe that.
Devin Moore, a lot of injury issues, and tonight he sure didn't look like he was full speed and just everywhere. What is his process been to get to have a night like this?
Yeah, well, first of all, Devin had an unbelievable offseason. He's been injured since he's been here. I think he kind of renewed his commitment to the offseason, changing his body, really addressing some of those areas where he's been banged up. And then, he's been available. He's played, so he's gaining experience. He has elite traits. I think he's 6'2"3/4". He's 195, 200 pounds. And he's a very bright kid, that I think he makes the most of the experience. So, we're definitely better when he's out there. But he's a tough dude now. This guy last week, he did some things to return to the game, and then ultimately sucked it up. Critical block on some of those punt returns. He just continues to show up, man. He's a good one for sure. You
ever had a guy score 5 touchdowns?
I don't think the Gators have had a guy score 5, right? I think that's a record. Yeah, pretty good company there, I would say. All right, guys. Thank you all. I don't think so.
All right, guys, we'll have Devin Moore at the podium, and then Elijah Badger, that right corner, available. Start with Graham Hall to your right.
So what happened earlier in the game when you had to check out for a little bit? And were you a little concerned that this was going to be, oh, here we go again, another injury?
Nah, because, me and the strength staff, they do a great job just helping me. All the little nuances and little nicks and crannies that I got to work on, the imbalances. So, I put 100% trust in them, and, I just trusted to the work that I put in off season and the work I do just on a daily, and just been able to go out there and still play. So it's definitely a blessing too, and got to give credit to God too.
What has been the key for this secondary, just making improvements recently, the steps that you guys have taken over the past month especially? Is it the bye week, or is there something else maybe in there that you think you can credit it to?
I think it started the bye week. There was a whole different approach to practice. As we say, we not trying to let nobody catch a ball each practice, like straight like that. And you gonna get coached up even if you do let somebody catch a ball by everybody, not just the coaches. Like, we got guys out there, freshmen holding seniors accountable. So when you have something like that and chemistry like that, and everybody want to see everybody eat, it just makes it all so much more better.
You almost had a pick six. Cormani did. Just curious about the ball hawking. What's been different this season in terms of your guys' ability to create turnovers? I think you've probably already created more than you did all last year.
100% credit to the coaching staff. After last season, they seen we was, kind of lacking in that area. So every day we turnover circuit, takeaway circuit, and, that stuff translates to the field. So when you constantly practicing that every day, you'll get a result on Saturday.
What kind of confidence does this give the defense going into, you're going to have another open week and then a really tough stretch coming up after that? What confidence do you guys think you're playing with right now compared to early in the season?
200% confidence. You look out there, whoever's out there, guys are having fun. When you can go out there, everybody eating, everybody having fun, it just makes it so much better. And especially we get to go into another bye week with the same mindset we had in the first one, it's going to be very scary.
Yeah, 3 picks tonight matched your entire season total for last year. So just back to that point, just how gratifying is it to see the results?
It could bring you to tears sometimes, you feel what I'm saying? But nah, it's it's priceless. Just being able to see all the hard work we put in, as well as the coaches, they up there day in, day out, just making plans for us to get more picks and get more takeaways. It's priceless for sure.
You played a lot as a freshman, or you played 7 games or whatever, good bit. When you see a guy like Jaden, who just turned 19 last week, I think, Matt told me, and DJ this summer, I mean, to see them produce the way they are at such a young age, what does that say about them, their work ethic, talent level?
Honestly, that's no surprise to me because, I'm in the building with those guys every day. I see the hard, countless extra meetings, extra practices, extra hours, working on their craft every day. They're already real professionals even at the age they're at, being a freshman. So, just seeing that, seeing all the hard work they put in, there's no other choice but for it to translate on the field. And that's credit to them.
Not amazing on some level to see 5 touchdowns from 19-year-old DJ doing what he's doing?
Nah, it is amazing. I'm not going to count. It is amazing. Very proud of them boys.
The defense as a whole seems to just be kind of like flying around a little bit more over the past few weeks, specifically when it comes to like wrapping up on tackles. How much has just been tackling been an emphasis for you guys, bringing the guy down on the first try?
I wish I could tell you, you feel me? But, like I said, kind of with the takeaway circuit, it's being translating to the game because we work it every day in practice, And it's one thing to work it every day in practice, but when everybody is holding you accountable for it, you don't want to let your brothers down, even in practice. That's the type of atmosphere we create in practice. So, just going out there and playing for your brothers and making sure, okay, I got this job to do. I got to get them down by any means.
We'll end with Graham.
I don't think a lot of people maybe realize everything that Cam Carroll's been through over the past year, just being around him every day, seeing him be a leader, just seeing him get out there for the end of the game, just how gratifying and great of a moment that was to see.
So when he first got here, he was my roommate when he was a transfer. We chopped it up, had deep conversations. I just learned everything he'd been through and things like that, and what he went through being here too. So just seeing that 2-7 out there, it's crazy. So excited for him. you know, to just everything he been through, just being able to fight through all that, you know, keep his head down, keep working, and the leadership he does behind the scenes. You know, he's one of our best leaders, you know, not scared to speak up, hold everybody accountable, and walk in the building every day with the same attitude.
And as important as it is to get healthy during the bye week for a lot of these guys, just how also important is it to do what you guys did at the last bye week and keep getting better and improving from here on?
Yeah, it's really two things: get healthy and compete. You know, replicate what we did the first bye week and even take it to another level, to be honest. Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Dennis, cameras want to know when you guys are good in the back. All right, guys. Going by Jaden Ball. Well, Graham Hall to your right, Jaden.
I got to ask, is that the most touchdowns you've ever had in a game, or did you have more in high school?
Yeah, I had more in high school.
What was the most you ever had in a game?
Really 8, but they called one back, so 7.
Just how exciting of an opportunity is this for you to make an impact as a freshman? Is this what you anticipated coming into a room that, you know, had a senior in here as well? Did you expect that you get this early opportunity?
Well, I did, but, you know, hats off to Montreal because he brought me in and put his arms around me and told me, like, I'm a good player, but I got to keep working. So him being the leader in that room, it just makes me better. And the rest of the guys around me better, too.
How much confidence does a game like today give you, being in a limited role to kind of start the season and then having a breakout performance tonight, obviously with 5 touchdowns? What does that do for just your mindset moving forward?
Well, it gives me confidence, but it also gives my team confidence too. As into, we know we could have been did this as a offense and a defense. Like the defense played great today, and that gave us the opportunity on offense to do what we did today.
Jaden, first of all, 5 touchdowns. A lot of running backs would have called that a dream day, and certainly you would probably call it that. But your longest run was a 27-yarder that didn't go into the end zone. Talk a little about that, and I believe that was early in the game when that happened.
Yeah.
Tell them, how did that open up for you?
Well, when it happened, I was just like, okay, keep running, keep running, keep running. I wasn't trying to go down, but it just gave me more confidence to do what I did today. And it gave me more confidence in my line, my O-line. Man, they played great today. Like, I ain't got words for it, but they played great.
We'll go to Kevin right
Yeah. When did you find out you were starting?
Today.
Before the game?
Really, today.
Was there a little nerves or butterflies, or what was that like, and who did you lean on for maybe kind of advice going into the game?
Well, it wasn't really butterflies because, you know, Coach Luke, he always tells us, like, if somebody goes down, the next man has to be up and we have to be ready. And he coaches us hard, so it makes us better. Even, like, from the littlest guy in our room to the strongest guy in our room, he makes us better regardless.
What do you attribute your kind of nose for the end zone for today, you think?
I ain't really gotten too much, but, you know, we did well as a team, so.
Jaden, what was your recruiting process like? And you had Alabama and Florida coming after you late. What was ultimately the deciding factor for Florida?
Really being somewhere that I knew that could take care of me and my family. That played a big part into, like, being close to my brothers. So that really, you know, sealed the deal for me because Florida had a plan when I came up here on my official visit. They had a plan for me and my family too.
Billy said that one of the things was that he kind of envisioned a backfield with you and DJ, and that was something that they tried to sell you on. Do you remember that conversation? Well,
man, did I? When I knew that DJ was here too, it kind of gave me more confidence into that I wanted to be here too because I knew the player he was, and he showed it tonight, and he's been showing it really the whole season. So.
And then where does your running ability and the strengths of it, what do you attribute that to? Your jump cuts and your vision, it seems pretty special.
It's just been stuff I've been working on since I was little. My pops, he, you know, instilled it in me early, so it's just secondhand nature, really.
Your dad trained you growing up?
Yeah, all the time. Me and my brothers.
What was his name?
Corey Bryant.
Real quick, guys, we have Taylor Speardo and Aiden Warner available in the back as well.
How would you evaluate DJ's performance? You guys were the first two true freshmen to start at quarterback and running back in program history, and obviously he really turned it up a notch. How would you evaluate DJ's performance tonight?
To me, he played very good, but it's always improvement, and we as a team we can improve. DJ been showing it the whole time he been here. Ever since we got here, he been telling me like this is gonna be something we can do, and we can change Florida back to what it was.
Yeah, you and DJ stepped in for some guys with a lot of starts. I think if you put those guys probably to combine like 80 starts in college, and you guys are so new to it. What do you how was that daunting on any level, knowing that you guys were going to have to replace guys with such experience and success and production?
No, not at all. They gave us the confidence again. Like I said, the older guys always been leaders, and they've been great leaders to me and DJ. And they always told us like it's gonna be our time when they're gone and when they're here too. So they just gave us the confidence again to do what we did tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you just turned 19 years old. Where do you credit your maturity to be able to kind of handle a moment like that?
My family, like they gave me all the tools and skills that I needed to be mature. So.
Jaden, Jaden, just I want to take a little bit of a step further back. Talk about the spring game, being able to kind of get, have such a good game in that game. Yes, it was, it is sort of a glorified scrimmage, but still to do well in that game. How much did that help you now leading into the season?
Well, it helped me a lot, but as like the time came, I still knew I had a lot to work on. I rewatched the film like every day to this day. I still watch the film just to see like what could I improve on. So it just gave me confidence.
Coach is saying obviously the 1984 team was honored, during the game today. Coach is saying that just hearing about the Gator standard, sort of motivated you guys that maybe you guys feel like you haven't lived up to that this year. As, a freshman, has heard about the Gators and, what they were, decades ago. Is that something that really motivated you wanting to get back to that level and, at least for tonight?
Yeah, not just me. It motivates all the guys in the room. That bye week, it gave us like a lot of confidence into we can play with anybody on our schedule. And we've just been trying to let people know, like last week, it really played a big part into what we did today. Like we didn't like that. We didn't like the loss, and we knew we wasn't supposed to lose, so we just came out fast and played fast and physical.
And then one more, just competition is going to obviously increase significantly in 2 weeks against Georgia. What's going to be the key in really being able to establish the run when you guys play them in Jacksonville?
Well, one is going to be us competing. Like, it starts with us. So our O-line and D-line, they get into it all the time. And to see us compete, I know that we can take another step into playing better.
We'll go to Graham and then end with Zach.
You mentioned some of the older guys who've served as leader to you. How much has Cam Carroll done that for you since you've been here, and just how exciting was it to see him? I know he's been, desperately wanting to get back on the field. Just to see him out there for the end of the game, how exciting was that?
Man, seeing Cam on the field today, just gave me chills, and I was happy to see him back out there. Ever since I got in and came into Florida, Cam just took me under his wing and showed me the ropes, and been there always. He always been there for me.
How much do you think you've improved from a pass pro standpoint just since you got to Florida?
I've improved a lot, as in reading, knowing who to block, knowing where to be, and that's helping me more. It comes from my coaches. Like my coaches, they teach me a lot, and I have just kept them skills that they didn't taught me to prove it today.
When Montreal talked to you and told you that you were talented but still had things that you needed to work on, what were those things, and how do you feel like you've improved in those areas?
It's in maturing too. Maturing, that was one of the things. Because in our room, it's just we laugh every day. It's a bunch of comedians in there, but he told me I got to improve on maturing, playing, practicing better. That's what all my coaches tell me that too. I got to practice better, and that would just lead me into the steps I'm taking now.
And then lastly, going back to your recruitment, how close did it come down to Florida and Bama? Did you decide day of, or?
That was the day of, really. I know I got the call from Coach Jaluk, and we just had a long conversation, and he actually like cleared up a lot of things for me, and that's why I was here.
What did he clear up for you?
As in, that was gonna take care of me and my family. Like, I wasn't too keen on like being that far away, like this far away, because from Atlanta it's 4 hours, so being away from our brothers, that played a big part of my recruitment. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Real quick, guys, we got